So I'm watching an interview with my favorite cinematic writer and director, Quentin Tarantino. I think he's I was gonna say I think he's a pretty cool guy, but I don't think he's a pretty cool guy. I think he used to be a pretty cool guy. I don't really know who he is anymore. Anyways, he's in this interview and this guy's talking to him about, I think it's Howard Stern, maybe it was Howard Stern. Stern's asking Tarantino what's his favorite of his own movie. And Tarantino says that shit about I can never pick one of my babies, blah, blah, blah. I love them all, depends on the day you ask me, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of it, he says pretty much he can say he thinks Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is his finest movie. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding, dude? Are you fucking kidding? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is fine. It's a fine movie. I enjoyed it. I didn't regret watching it. Can you tell me a single fucking quotable line from that movie? Whereas, dude, you made Pulp Fiction, which basically changed the face of cinema and movie making forever. For fucking ever, man. Every line in that movie is infinitely quotable. There are so many key characters, key parts. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was probably fun to make. It was probably fun to shoot. You had your shit together, you know? You were able to just, make the movie you wanted to make. But fucking Pulp Fiction, that's cinematic art. That's narrative art that will last for generations because it's that fucking good. Obviously, Pulp Fiction is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I'd also put Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill up on that list. I'm a big fan of Death Proof. I'm a big fan of pretty much all of his movies. My father and my uncle Rocky, who is not really my uncle, he's my dad's bandmate, they were in a blues and gospel band together. So my dad and Rocky, they took me to go see Pulp Fiction when I was 14, 15 years old. We went to go see Street Fighter, the Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter at the Granville 7 Cinema downtown Vancouver. And it was a stupid, terrible movie. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme and Street Fighter. It's campy fun, but it is what it is. And after that, they took me to Pulp Fiction. I'd never seen a trailer, didn't know what it was. They didn't tell me anything. They just said, here's a movie you need to see. Quentin Tarantino has not all of us aged well. We do our best, but sometimes time has its way with us. And sometimes we wind up saying stupider shit when we're older than we did when we were younger. The fun thing about art is that it's always going to be subjective, Your favorite movie can change from day to day. It can be a very different opinion than the person who made it necessarily. You could have a low opinion of the person who made it and still enjoy a piece of art. I think there are limitations on that. I'm not going to go out and start watching the Jeepers Creepers franchise anytime fucking soon, I'm telling you. Everybody, from the artist who creates it to the fucking goober who watches it like me, everybody gets to have an opinion on art. And, it changes all the time. I love Quentin Tarantino's early movies. I think his later movies are fine. They are some of the best movies I've seen. Even his shittiest movies are still better than most people's good movies. That said, I've never felt much of an urge. I've watched a few scenes of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood over again. I've watched Pulp Fiction probably more times than any movie I can think of, and I always find different stuff in it. I've watched video essays that find these little minute details that were there, that were totally fucking there, that matter and are interesting. And every fucking line of dialogue in that movie, man, every scene is so engaging. Everybody gets to have their own opinion. I'm not right. I'm not here saying, here's the definitive greatest Tarantino movie of all time. But for me, I don't even know how you could say there's any kind of contest between Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Pulp Fiction, let alone, again, Reservoir Dogs. Jackie Brown is such a fucking amazing movie, but again, I just don't know. Nothing competes for me with Pulp Fiction, one of the greatest movies of all time ever made. And again, quantifying this stuff is just fucking stupid, man. Movies and art aren't meant to be put on a list or a hierarchy of who could beat who in a fist fight or who has the most quotable lines or who has the most badass moments. That's not why I fucking watch movies. I don't know why I fucking watch movies, man. It turns into a real forest in the trees type thing where when you get real up close to it, it's I don't know what makes something that is cool, but I fucking know it when I watch it, man. Anyway, Quentin Tarantino, I know you're watching these, Quentin. I hope you're having a great day today, Quentin. But you're wrong. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not your greatest movie. Your greatest movie that you ever made was Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs and Jackie Brown and parts 1 and 2 of Kill Bill and possibly even Death Proof. But definitely Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is the greatest movie ever made. And I don't mean that negative. I'm not saying that you hit a high watermark. You've made incredible work since then, Quentin. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not better than Pulp Fiction. I'm sorry, dude. I bet it is for you. And I can understand why as an older man and you're having fun shooting stuff. I can see why it is. So, here's to you, Quentin. I understand you're making one last movie, and I hope it's a good one. Maybe I'll go to the movie theater and see it. You're the only creator I still go to theater for. You're one of the only creators I still trust to know that I'll enjoy enjoy the movies that you make. So there it is. Do you have a favorite Quentin Tarantino movie? If so, tell me in the comments, and I'll see you at the movie theaters. Actually, you won't, because I like to watch my movies at home, where I can smoke weed and eat Doritos. Yeah, no pants on. See you later, suckers. Who's that little Mabel Louise? She's a little tiny dog, and she's covered in cheese. Mabel, are you eating shit off the... Oh, you're in so much trouble now.